The NFL stands for not for long.
Set Sharga and Armstead. Roll out. Walker still running out. Looks to the left. Wide open. Thompson touchdown. Colin Thompson with the touchdown. There was nobody within 20 yards of him.
What a catch off the bobble. Colin Thompson scoops it up.
Lofting corner, the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. The first NFL touch for Colin Thompson is a score.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Colin Thompson Show. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hope everyone is having an awesome week. Jack and I, Jack Connell, Jack in the back, as everybody says. The apologetic women's sports hater is back. He's ready to roll. He's going on the Jersey Shore next week. Recording here on a June 19th on a Wednesday. Jack, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Just regular week of work, knocking some things out. Just nothing really write home about. Basketball is over. Hockey's now interesting for once.
Yep. Very, very interesting.
Connor McOverrated.
Yeah. Well, the NBA is a joke. Yeah, it really is. I mean,
oh, you didn't see it. You have no idea what I'm talking about. That went right over your head.
What do you mean?
You didn't see it? The Connor McOverrated whole stuff with McDavid.
Yeah, pretty funny. Pretty funny. He's better than Wayne Gretzky, folks. Wayne Gretzky played against people who couldn't move and goalies that didn't go down to the ground. Like, it's no disrespect to Wayne, different her, hard to compare, but man, oh man. Conor McGregor, I've said it before, he will be the greatest NHL player of all time. You look at it. What did I say? Conor McGregor. I've been in the shows lately. Really have a lot of time working outside. A lot of time in the sun. Went to a friend's house today. Worked outside, just grinding, Jack. Just grinding. Got the house ready for a big baby shower this past weekend. That was a lot of fun. A lot of work. Weekend with family and friends here. We're expecting a little one late July, so it's coming fast. And we're on the shore this weekend a little bit, doing some work with our new show, Food Drinks Football, up in North Jersey, which would be great. Down the shore, though, got to check out Fudge Kitchen, the original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. You heard it here first. They've been working with us for years now, and it's been a blessing working with them because I really, honestly, it's opened up a window to me to send thank you to different people. Box of fudge, little handwritten letter, really goes a long way to someone that does a lot for you. It's a little mix-up from the normal birthday gift or a gift card or what have you. They have gift cards too, by the way. Fudgekitchens.com. They ship it across the country. Check them out. Jack and I are going to get into a few different things today, but we talked last week NFC kickoff return. This week, we're going to talk AFC kickoff returners. We're going to talk about AFC jerseys, just little things. Next week, we're going to get into a couple different things. Jack, I want to get into receiving cores. Ranking these receiving cores, because as I'm preparing for the show today, I found a few receiving cores that I think are shady really good. The Browns being one of them. The Titans being one of them. I listened to, if you're into podcasts, folks, everybody tells you to listen to this, listen to that. If you're a football person, go listen to Titans GM and Key West legend Rand Carthon on Bussin' with the Boys. He was fantastic. He gets into the Titans team. They get into him firing Coach Vrabel. They get into a lot of really interesting stuff on there. I mean, really interesting stuff that you don't get that access to by normal media. So check that out. He talks about the team. He talks about how they got Calvin Ridley. It just popped up today. They came in my head. I'm like, if I would suggest any podcast to somebody, of course, other than the Colin Thompson Show. And we'll be back with more interviews and all that moving forward. I want to take some time for myself and give our team a little bit of a break and do, a couple quick episodes here to get us through different weeks of the summer and different talking points. But we'll be back to our regular scheduled programming with longer interviews coming weeks and all. But check out that episode. I think you'll like it. Also, guys, check out our friends over at BoronUSA.com. Boron, listen, Arnicare, they've been fantastic to me. I talked about them ad nauseum, hand pain, arthritis, discomfort, allergies. I took some of the pills for the allergy stuff today. Homeopathic care, natural from a plant, not that hard stuff that makes you feel drowsy and all that. From a plant, it's got centuries old and proven product that I absolutely love using. Working outside today, weed whacking, leaf blowing, all the crap's blowing in the air. I feel great. Really do. And usually after I feel like crap. So boronusa.com. Go to their, what is it here? The wellness tips section on boronusa.com. Skin boosting nutrition. Love that stuff. Recover like a pickleball champion with Arnold Care. Nighttime, common, nocturnal leg cramps. My wife's been having them a little bit being pregnant. Allergy proof your plate. They give you all these different advice and then how to use boron in your normal life. Homeopathic allergy kit. Love that. Sleep, pain, bedtime routines with babies. Like this is not just like, hey, take this, you feel better. Check them out, boronusa.com. It's a lifestyle. And it's been a pleasure working with Boron and our friends over at Honor Care. All right, Jack. I think it's time. I'll bring it up again if you're just tuning into this show, not last week. I think we don't really understand, or fans. It was nice, Jack. We had some media members pick up some of our stuff and say Colin's doing a nice job breaking down some of the niche things for the season ahead. Some of the Carolina Panthers. So it's true. I really enjoy this niche stuff because, okay, we're going to talk about the quarterbacks. Great. Let's rank the quarterbacks in the NFC West. What do you think, Jack? I'm done with that. But I think some of the people are not talking enough about is kickoff return. And people are talking about different offensive coordinators. It's just as important. Special teams now has become very relevant. Very relevant. Before, between kickoff return, times it by 2, that's like 20 plays a game have just become irrelevant in the NFL. So, long story short, it's relevant now. And I think players, really good ones, are going to be on the field. Not just, hey, you're the kickoff returner. Yes, there's going to be those type of guys. Yes. But now there's going to be starting running backs, starting receivers. And if it's a big moment, it's not like, hey, let's put Tyreek Hill back there. They're going to kick it out the back of the end zone. They got to kick it to him. Because if they kick it out the back and they get great field position at start, 2 completions, you're in field goal range. Where before they kicked it out back and went to the 25. Now, Jack, it goes to the 40, I think.
I think if you kick it out and you don't return it, I think it goes up to the 40. I know it's some very much form of incentive for the team.
Yeah, it's not the 35. I think it's the 40. I could be wrong and unprofessional of us. But neither here nor there. I'm going to talk about my teams. Jack, do you want to run through yours first? Let's start with you. Let's get you tooled up. Are you ready for that? Am I putting you on the spot?
What division are we starting with?
Let's go AFC North. Bills, Miami,
AFC
Jets. Bills,
That's
Miami.
the AFC East. AFC East.
East. Christ, I'm sorry. AFC East. Bills, Miami, Jets, Pats.
Well, I was cute. I thought we were going north, south, east, west. So I will start with the AFC East because you're throwing me off my rhythm.
Oh, God. Used for your bad list, but continue.
With the Buffalo Bills, I feel like Khalil Shakir. I mean, he's kind of like their wide receiver. I mean, would he be technically their wide receiver too at this point? Depends, I think, how you view Keon Coleman at this point. I feel like Curtis Samuel is their number one speedy guy.
Who's the kid out of Florida State?
I don't know where he went to college. Small kid. Yeah.
Who's the first round pick?
First, Keon Coleman, second round pick.
Second round pick. First pick in the second round. Yeah, okay. He's not going to return. He's a taller guy, but continue.
Yeah, so that's kind of who I saw out of Buffalo. Nobody really stood out to me. Curtis Samuel, I guess, if you really want to talk about somebody who's kind of a jack of all trades type guy. I know you're really big on Curtis.
Dog.
Miami, you can't go wrong. There's like 7 guys you could pick out of Miami between Wilson, Mostert, Achane. They're not fun to pick. New England Patriots, they're a team. They don't really have many guys, so I really don't know. Like, I don't know many of these guys to really judge. I mean, Jalen Reagor is kind of the obvious. He was a returner at TCU. That's what everybody's hyped him up about coming out of college. So, I mean, there's nothing really there. And then you got the Jets. Well, they had that kid last year that had the game-winning punt return. Name is slipping me. Was it Gibson, I think? Was it Xavier Gibson? I mean, besides that, I mean, you could say him. Breece Hall. Again, there's nothing really that stands out to me as a really exciting option for the Jets as a returner. I mean, their wide receivers are really not like returner type guys outside of Gibson. Like Mike Williams, Allen Lazard, like they're not returners. I don't really say Garrett Wilson's a return type receiver either. And on defense, I mean, maybe one of their corners. Looking at them.
This is a boring division. It's tough for
Yeah.
them. It's nothing fun, at least. Anybody else, Jack, or no? You good?
No, there's nobody really that's like standing out to me. Braylon Allen's somewhat exciting. You want to say him out there? Yeah,
I know it's interesting with this one. I'll go back to the Bills. I think Frank Gore Jr. is small enough. He could be interesting to see what's going to happen. I will add. I'll go back here before I break down the AFC East. Apologies. I think what happens at the end of the year, right? There's always something that happens of either an injury or a lot of players get hurt at the linebacker position. So linebacker becomes a premium in the preseason, early in the season, right? Like in Carolina, we had 3 tight ends go down in 3 different days. 1, 2, 3. I had a calf, Ian had a rib, and Josh Babbage broke his arm. So like, boom, all of a sudden, like so I think what we're going to see is some of these good rookies and good returners, these good running backs. And I think they're going to see some really big plays in the preseason from these positions. So if the guy gets cut and they're like, wow, I don't think people realize how good or how important this position is, returner on kickoff and punt. It's always been important on punt, but now on kickoff, it's really important. Where they'll bring a guy in off the preseason, put him on the practice squad, right? Try to protect him somehow. So it's interesting. Keep an eye on that. I could see those type of guys like, hey, listen, we got our roster set. Let's bring a guy up on the practice squad. He's just going to return kicks for us because he's electric. You may not even know the playbook, but we're going to put him back there to know the kickoff return stuff because that's pretty straightforward. Frank Gore Jr. is interesting to me. He's a smaller back, obviously shifty. Curtis Samuel, I think, is perfect for it. He can play quarterback. He can play running back. He's a 1,000-yard receiver in this league. I think he's going to be massive for the Bills. Not a lot of people are talking about his talent and what he can bring to the table, the Ohio State grad. Miami, of course. H.A. Mozart, Hill, Waddle. I mean, it's a freaking 4x4 team. 4x100 team, excuse me. Breece Hall for the Jets. I think for the Jets, a guy to keep an eye on is Tyreek Cohen. Tyreek and I played together in Chicago early in his career. That guy is a human joystick. He's had some knee injuries. He was in Carolina last year with Tabor, who was his special teams coordinator in Chicago with the Bears. So I think last year on the practice squad with Carolina, maybe get his footing back under him a little stronger. He's had a healthy offseason again. He's up with the Jets. I think he could be a guy returning kicks for the Jets. Patriots, Rager and Stevenson was kind of chalk for me. I put them in there. AFC North, Ravens, Browns, Steelers, Bengals. For me, the Ravens, Jack, I had to go Zay Flowers. But I'll say this, Malik Cunningham, former quarterback, former Patriot. That guy is dynamic, can throw. And I'm interested to see how they're going to intermingle the throwing game, the passing game, and the kickoff return this year. So I think he's a good fit. Browns. I like my boy Deontay Foreman. I mean, he's not perfect for this role, but the guy is hard to tackle, and he's a straight downhill runner. And I think this is going to be more downhill than east to west. So look at him. Hines. This is one of my teams, Jack, the Browns receiving core. Okay. Moore, Judy, Cooper. Pretty freaking good. I like their tight end too. And I'm probably missing a guy or two in there. Steelers, Scotty Miller, shifty player, good slot receiver. Cordell Patterson or Jalen Warren, to me, that combination. Cordell, obviously everybody knows him, but like teams fear him. He brings the ball out from anywhere. That guy is one of the best, if not, let's just say this, he's one of the best returners of all time, period. That is fact. So I think he's going to be dominant for the Steelers. Steelers are a really, really loaded team this year. I'm really interested to see how they're going to do with the quarterback position. But Cordell Patterson, to me, perfect fit for the new rules. He's playing running back. He's playing receiver. It's going to be a little bit of both, returning kicks now. It's going to be a little bit different. I like to see what he's going to do this year. No one really jumped out to me to the Bengals, but they're that's my kind of group. The guys that stand out to me, Patterson and Malik Cunningham out of the AFC North.
Yeah, Baltimore, I did have Malik Cunningham as well as one. Another one really jumped out to me is Rasheen Ali out of with Marshall. We had Emory Hunt on the college draft this week. He kind of compared him a lot to Raheem Mostert. Coming out, sees a lot of similar traits with him. He's somebody that jumps out to me. In Baltimore, going to Cleveland, I had Elijah Moore was sort of the guy I had tapped to sort of be the big one. I feel like he's very that's again, the obvious pick. Like I said, I feel like we're kind of mixing up the main pick and the most interesting option. And
you're not going to and we talked about last week, Jack, sorry to cut you off. It's like, it's going to be a really good third receiver. It's going to get back there. It's like, okay, Judy and Cooper are going to get the touches. We need to get Elijah Moore the ball. go back there and play kickoff return and light it up. And another thing, I'll keep bringing this up. Once players see other players have success at something, they all want to do it. For instance, if someone runs a double pass, C-Mac goes to the coach that week and says, hey, let me put the double pass in. For instance, if someone's on kickoff return and has a touchdown or two in a game and he's a big name player, they're like, hey, give me the ball. I want to go out there and do it. It looks pretty easy. So I think as the season goes on, more guys are going to get involved.
Yeah, this also how I found out Gio Ritchie's now on the Cleveland Browns as I'm looking through the depth.
The G dog. He'll be on both kickoff and kickoff return. 4-for-4 core guy. Love G.
Bengals, I'm not really familiar with the Bengals backup running backs. I mean, they kind of just took the same group from last year as far as I'm concerned, and then just got rid of Joe Mixon. Zach Moss's they took from Indianapolis.
Yep.
Jermaine Burton, he's kind of like an Odell Beckham type player. I really wouldn't put him as a returner. Yossi Vaj, I don't really think he's really much of a returner either. I think he's going to be a really good receiver. That's an incredible wide receiving core right there. Having Burton, Yossi Vaj as your 3 and 4 is something to keep in mind with next week. Baltimore, we already touched on, and then Pittsburgh, Cordell Patterson. I mean, that's just, again, the layup pick. I feel like he's pretty much the best way. I mean, Cordell Patterson's been in the league way longer, but I feel like he's just the miniature version of Deebo Samuel. I think that's sort of the best way to describe him. Just somebody who's used in the running game and passing game and is really good at both. But Deebo Samuel's like a Pro Bowl caliber of that, and Cordell Patterson's like a utility type guy who's more focused on the return game.
Cordell's huge.
But yeah. So, I mean, that's Cordell. I feel like is the guy. Jalen Warren's very strong running back. He's very aggressive, small. Like that's something like we kind of talked about last week, that body type. He fits the body type of a returner.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say those are the two guys that stand out to me for Pittsburgh.
We're going to end up having the same list here. Good luck making social media clips, Jack. AFC West. I mean, Kansas City. I mean, look at that roster. God, I mean, I was going through it today. Oh, my God. Like, you know, it's going to be funny, Jack. They're going to lose a couple games in September and October, and everyone's going to be overreacting. And we're going to, oh, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 5-4. I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. And they're going to win the Super Bowl again, probably. All right, Kansas City. And I'll say this. The Ravens, Detroit, and Niners, they blew it last year. That was their time to win the Super Bowl. I keep bringing it up, especially down here in Ravens country. Everyone asked me, what do you think about the Ravens? I said they should have won the Super Bowl last year. That's neither here nor there. Kansas City, Kadarius Toney, Isaiah Pacheco. Put those two back there and figure it out because, boy, oh, boy, their running styles are completely different, but they are both electric with the ball in their hands. The Raiders, Amir Abdullah, my boy from the Panthers. This guy, sweet feet, great hands. He'll be back there returning kicks. I can almost guarantee that. He is electric and so light on his feet. Nebraska, GBR. Excited to see what he's going to do this year. And Nebraska, for that matter. Denver. I had to put my boy Mike Burton back there. Go Google Mike Burton highlight video. This guy walked on at Rutgers, became a team captain, scholarship, and got drafted to play fullback in the NFL. That's just not a normal thing. So Mike is got great feet. He's a bowling ball. The guy is freaking lean, jacked, can run well. Mike, don't panic with the ball, Mike. Just run normally and take a deep breath for once, and you'll probably score a touchdown. The guy's a really, really good athlete and a really good fullback. Great guy in this league. Love Mike Burton. Chargers, I would say Gus or JK, running backs for the Ravens, of past. But to me, out of that group, you know, the guys that really stand out, Pacheco, Toney, Amir, Mike Burton.
Yeah. So I'll start in LA. Looking, I mean, it's a very unconventional option. One of the names that jumps out to me, I mean, he's very much not built for returners. Quentin Johnston. Just fits the mold of he's a receiver, first-round pick that just really struggled to make much of an impact on offense. And it might just be something they might pull him back on special teams to see if he can sort of get something going there. Maybe in some sense, just try it out. Asante Samuel Jr. is another person I think could be interesting back there. Again, Kansas City's like Miami is pick your poison between Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy. Like you could put so many different speedy type guys back there. McCole Hardman. I would say McCole Hardman's probably the interesting one because he's kind of the least known of that group. Well, he's known, but like he's the least dominant of that group. For the Raiders.
And it goes back to my group. My point is he's your third wide. Like, hey man, you're getting a couple touches a game. Go back there.
You could honestly argue McCole Hardman is the wide receiver 5 or 6 for the Chiefs.
They're loaded. So that's my point. They're going to be like, can't cut the guy. He's too valuable. If they're going to probably tell him, listen, you got to return kicks this year. If you're good at it, you'll make the team. If you're not, you may not make the team.
Yeah. like, I mean, looking at this group, I mean, Rashee Rice, I mean, he's had his troubles, but he's probably going to be on the field. Hollywood Brown, who was really good in, what's it called? Arizona, not really Arizona. He struggled. Baltimore, he was really good.
Yep.
And then Xavier Worthy, top pick. Justin Watson, I think, was really underrated for them last 2 years. He's kind of been that guy for them. And then you've Kadarius Toney, who's kind of in the same boat as McCall Hardman. And you got Sky Moore, Justin Ross, who are fringe guys. But anyways, besides the point.
They're good.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like you're looking at like the wide receivers 6 and 7. Like that could be another team's wide receiver 3.
They're both going to be standing back there on kickoff return, and they're going to find a way to get him on the field. They're going to have to learn to play gunner on punt. Like that's what happens, man. It's great. Good for them. It's a good problem. That's what happens when you get rid of Tyreek Hill and you don't strap your roster down with one player. Now Miami's got a great roster, but that's neither here nor there. But continue.
Yeah, looking at the Raiders, again, nobody really stands out for me there. This is, again, I didn't realize Amir Abdullah was still in the league.
Baller. That guy is a baller. Amir Abdullah is
nothing against him as a player. It's just one of those names. Like, I remember he was Detroit for a while, and it's just somebody that kind of slipped out of my mind now I'm seeing is there.
Jack, again, remember when you were like in high school and the kid would do the ladder drill in front of you and you'd be like, oh, God, I hope he's not in front of me because he made me look like shit?
Oh, I thought you were going to say the other way, the kid that breaks the ladder and you got to fix. Not breaks the ladder, but
that was
gets
you
all messed
and
up.
me.
Yeah.
That guy, his feet, his runs full speed. He's just, the guy's beast. I'm so jealous of guys that can run well because I don't. So he's one of them.
Yeah. So Vegas, again, though, it really stands out to me. Looking at Denver, I mean, and Troy Franklin, if somebody jumped out to me, but again, he doesn't fit the build of a. I said mold and build same time. I said milled. 6'4", so I don't really think he kind of fits that frame. Samaje Perine, maybe. I don't think they're going to really put Javonte Williams back there.
I don't think the AFC is as good as our NFC picks, Jack.
No, because a lot of the struggling teams, like the best teams, I think are in the AFC, but the worst teams are also in the AFC. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's who I have there. I think I touch on every single team there.
Oh, nice job. Okay. AFC South, Houston. I mean, Joe Mixon, right? I mean, he's like perfect for it. The guy's a bowling ball, runs well. Pierce is really good. And then Tank Dell. I mean, these teams now with loaded skill rooms. It's like, well, who are we going to put back there? Let's figure it out. Who's the leftover guy? We need to make the team and still have impact on the team. It's going to be that guy returning the ball. Maybe a non-negotiable, like, hey, you're going back there. And the thing is, you're not going to get smoked like you did before. I mean, you may get lit up, but like, it's not every play where you're back to your return. You're like, screw it. It's almost like NASCAR where there's an accident and they just take it right through full speed and hope they don't bump into a car. Well, that's how it is for human beings doing kickoff return. You may end up landing on your head. So it's no fun. I did it. I'm happy this is this way. I mean, kickoff return before was straight gladiator shit. Really was. I mean, there was some me talking to myself before that play. Like, here we go. Don't get punked. You got to punk some, because if you get punked, I mean, it's on. It's bad.
Were you from what line were you on kickoff? Or were you talking about kickoff or kick return?
Front line, kickoff return. Let's go. I was never on kickoff. In preseason games, I would cover kicks. Not bad, though. My whole thing is this. You pause the screen at the 30-yard line, everyone's in the same place. I would be right in that ballpark, a yard behind guys. Like, what the heck's the difference? And in kickoff, you're going to come down in layers. Old school kickoff, you came down in layers. So you had like your 5 and your 3 out in front with your 2, and then your 1 would fold in and your 4 would fold in and make the play. So there was times I'd fold in and be right around the ball. Like, okay, well, what the hell? Like, I would get made fun of. I'd make fun of myself. My boys would make fun of me, and I'd be like, I don't know. You doing any better? Plus, it's awkward, man. Being a tight end on kickoff and like punt, tackling, and you don't tackle a lot and you don't use that muscle. Like in high school, I would just wrap guys up and pull them down, because I was just bigger. But now, when you got to like tackle, I don't know, pick a guy, Cordell Patterson, and you're out. You haven't gone to the ground on your knees in a tackle like that, and what? Since there was an interception in a game and you're trying to chase a guy, like that's not a thing you practice a lot, so you're just like, screw it, send it, keep your head up and leave your feet. I don't know. So it's not how you teach it, but it's easier said than done. So wrap up. It's like, okay, great. When's the last time I did that in a game? So kickoff return, your front lines, like tight ends and fullbacks and linebackers that move well. I have an insider just text me, Marcus Jones. The Patriots this year Marcus Jones returning kicks. Guys, all-pro, Pro Bowl type player, going to be returning kicks this year for the Patriots. Something to keep your eye on, at least with the Pats. Guy's a really good player. So let's see. Let's go back to your regular schedule program. Yeah, so you have like your receivers, skill guys, good DBs, like tough special teams ballers in the front line. Then the back line usually is like guys like me, tight ends, linebackers, defensive line. You just run in a straight line and just railroad the guy, pretty much. And then obviously we know kickoff guys. They run their nut jobs. All right, so I digress, Jack. AFC South. Houston, we talked about them. Jack's, no one jumped out. Colts, no one jumped out. And doesn't mean they don't have them, guys. I'm just like going, and Jack knows more than me. I'm not up to date on the draft this year as I was last year. Last year, I was so down. I knew every player drafted. I'm sure I missed on rookies. I haven't said one rookie this whole process. Jack has, because he's a better media guy than me. I listen, Titans. Boyd, Hopkins, Ridley. Next week, they're going to be on my list. Spears is good for Tennessee. I think he's a pretty good back. Kid out of Tulane. He's a guy who could do it. And Pollard, of course, now coming off injuries and different things. But obviously, that guy's got great hands, great mobility. I think the Titans, interesting this year. They're going to be interesting this year. That offense is going to be Will Levis friendly. They're not going to be a doormat. There's some players on that field for that defense too. Like that. That's going to be an interesting situation. Keep it on the Titans this year. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, their defense, they brought in L'Jarius Sneed. I mean, Tavondre Sweat, who I think is like a big body defensive tackle, nose tackle, actually out of Texas. They definitely have a really solid defense over there. As terms for returners and players to watch, I think Tyjae Spears, like you mentioned, is pretty much the big one to watch. Speedy, small running back. I mean, he checks all the boxes there.
Yeah.
For Jacksonville, I feel like had a home run pick. New guy, Devin Duvernay. He was the returner for Baltimore. He's going to thrive in that position. He's the wide receiver 4/5 for that team. Again, I think it's a Cordell Patterson situation where he was brought in specifically to be the returner. He's kind of at that point where he is just a returner. He was a wide receiver 3 for Baltimore. He had some plays, but he made his biggest impacts in the return game. Indianapolis.
Good call.
Indianapolis, I'm looking. I don't really have anybody that stands out to me there.
Put the QB back there, Jack. He's going to be a Pro Bowl.
Anthony Richardson. What, Joe Flacco? You want Joe Flacco returning kicks?
Why doesn't Cleveland re-sign him?
Watson. I know it's an intimidation factor for Watson, I think.
They got to win. I mean, Stefanski doesn't really have to. I guess he wins Coach of the Year every year, so he's probably like, I'll get a job tomorrow.
Well, I mean, their quarterback group isn't like, again, they invested $250 million guaranteed into Deshaun Watson.
Jameis,
and they got Jameis Winston.
Backup. I love Jameis.
But again, like I said, it's not really about Jameis and Huntley and the guys they brought in. It's the fact that they want to make it very abundantly clear to Deshaun Watson that we gave you $250 million. You are our guy.
No
again,
shit.
I don't. But
if
again,
you get hurt, Deshaun. We got to make the playoffs. Actually, I love the Jameis pick, probably even better than Joe.
It's almost like a media thing in the sense, not a media thing. I don't think the media, but like Joe Flacco, it would be the whole offseason be talking. I think rightfully so. Is Joe Flacco stay the starter after everything he did for this team last year? And it's almost like that Nick Foles shadow over Deshaun Watson.
God.
That's
2024. Go play. Hey, Deshaun. No crap. You're the starter. Make it 250 bananas guaranteed. Let's rock and roll, man. I hear you, Jack. You're 100% right. I'm not disagreeing. You hit the nail on the head. Do you have anybody left?
Houston, I had John Mechie. He's somebody who sort of dealt with injuries in the last few years. Short
cancer.
Guy out of Alabama.
I think he had cancer, right? I think he beat cancer. Google that.
Yeah, I think he did. I'm almost yeah, now that you're saying it, I just remember he missed the past year. I didn't know what it was for.
Yeah.
But I do believe it was some form of he had leukemia.
Leukemia. Yeah, God bless him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, these teams with the abundance of talent, skill position wise, they're going to have some their special teams coaches are like, thank God. Like Kansas City, Tobe. Okay, who you going to put back there? Well, we got 4 guys. Houston, who you going to put back there? Niners, who you going to put back there? I mean, you brought a great point up last week about Ricky Purcell. Again, for those tuning in at this juncture of the show, 29 minutes in, care about it because this is going to have huge impact. And maybe I'm a crazy man and you know what? Everyone's going to want the ball at the 40 and they're going to kick it out the back. That ain't happening. Coaches love this shit. Coaches love the fact that this is back. They want to see blocking, tackling, hitting, period. You know who dropped the ball? I said it earlier. UFL, man, what are you doing? You know this is coming by the NFL, and I would change your kickoff rules immediately. And like they had an opportunity to really showcase they're doing. Really cool. The Stallions, man, won it. Shout out to Matt Caskey. I didn't get to watch the league as much as I wanted to this year, Jack. I don't know. They got to find a way to draw more eyeballs in. Did you watch a lot this year?
Did not, but I also feel like they're running into an issue where, I mean, from a competitive standpoint, Birmingham's a dynasty. They've now won 3 straight titles across the UFL and the
UFL was not as good as the XFL. So they won it in the USFL, excuse me. So they won 2 in the USFL, and then they jumped in here and have done well. The coach is great. I'm not saying they don't deserve it. I'm just saying I know the XFL was a little bit better than that league from what my understanding was. It could be wrong. But what a great league. What a great opportunity. Congrats to the Stallions. What a great opportunity these leagues are. It's a place to go down is real football, real coaches, real opportunity, the infrastructure around it, travel, food, lodging, like all that stuff really matters. Like you got to keep the main thing football. That you need to have like proper footwear and proper pads, and the coaches need to have the right headsets and all that stuff. Like that's expensive. So shout out to the Rock, shout out to that league, the Stallions, 3 in a row, like you said, Jack. Pretty impressive stuff. I had opportunities to go play in the league, but I'm all in on the NFL. It's not anything wrong with that league, but there's only so many hits a body can take, and honestly, I'm good. If I'm done, I'm done playing. I don't want to go down on one of those fields. It's not disrespect to that league, but I'm just like, hey, I'll empty the clip for the NFL, but I'm not ready to do it again. It is a commitment. You have a roommate, you're going away. I did it twice and I loved it, but I was younger. I was 24, 25 years old. Now I'm 30, expecting a kid. Some point in life, you got to start making decisions for your family and doing what's best for them and not just you. So, neither here nor there. Jack, we're going to rank these jerseys and we're going to get the heck out of here. A little 31-minute summer episode for these folks. All right, Jack, top 5 AFC jerseys. To me, number 5. What's that?
Oh, sorry, go. I thought you were asking me. You go.
Go ahead, Jack. Please go.
So to preface, I feel like Colin and I went different paths, and I assume we're going to go different paths again. I went team sets. Colin was probably doing individual jerseys. So again, AFC is much better than the NFC. Number 5, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. Just that it's very much grown on me. It's not really changed, but it's just hitting that Packers Cowboys standard of it's been around so long and it's been iconic through championship runs. It's kind of has a different meaning to it. 4, a new look, New York Jets. Going back to a modernized version of those 80 Kelly Green block style. I think they did a really beautiful job with that. I thought the whites were awesome last year. Glad to see them as a permanent staple. 3, another new look, Houston Texans. I mean, those are incredible across the board, different designs. They've got the H-Town ones of like the black sparkle helmets, the red ones with the horn. It's almost like the Eagles logo with the horn coming outside of it. They're just badass. 2, Cincinnati Bengals. Can't go wrong with those. They've been one of the best since they modernized those. And it's just the all whites are probably one of the top 5 best just overall jerseys in football. And number 1, LA Chargers. I mean, the powder blue. The powder blue is iconic. They're my favorite jerseys in the NFL, just ever. Just the overall powder blue design. And then having the navies as an alternate. And then that royal blue as a third. Incredible.
No, you're right. I think that dark blue for the Chargers is pretty cool too. Royal, but it's that darker blue.
Yeah, the navy is the dark.
Old school Jets jerseys are like some of my favorites. Wayne Corbett, Chai Pennington, that era. Big fan. All right, so my AFC jerseys, Jack. Titans light blue. That Carolina light blue for the Titans is sharp. Houston red, sharp. Steelers, I mean, just so classic. That black and yellow, like all black, so clean, iconic. Ravens purple, man. All that purple jersey is pretty sweet to me. I like their black jersey as well. And then Miami, the throwback all white is fresh. So Jack and I have a different list, which is great. And that's unplanned, folks, because we don't plan for our show. We just rip it. So that's it, Jack. And then what do you got coming up this weekend, buddy? I just did a bunch of yard work. Are you going to be yard working like crazy or what?
No, you don't do yard work right now. We're in the heat wave. If you do yard work, you're killing your grass.
God. Do a little something, Jack. Get out there, prune your, hydrangeas or something,
No. You let it be. You circle back in 2 weeks when it's back into the 80s a little bit.
Let it be. Let it
Exactly.
be. Take advice from Jack and the Beatles. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to our friends at Boron USA. Check them out. Fantastic homeopathic care. Jack, I'm getting a little stuffy again from being outside. I got to go get my pills. It took them a couple hours ago, so I'm probably past my time because, hey, you know what? I'm on it. A little Mexican food for dinner tonight, Jack's been fantastic. Can't wait for that. A little queso. Boom, boom. Rock and roll, man. The original Fudge Hitch and shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy these NHL playoffs. They are just getting started. They're just getting heating up. But I do think Florida wins on the road, which sucks. Winning on the road in Stanley Cup is brutal. But, hey, winning a cup is winning a cup. Jack, NBA is boring. All right, guys, have a good day. See ya.